So Angel Reese just set a double-double record. And obviously, unbelievably impressive. Like, it is incredible how she has rebounded so far in her career. Especially for someone who was a 7th pick. I will say, of the teams that passed on her, I think the only team that will really regret it are the Dallas Wings. Because look, Rickea Jackson's been exceptional. Cameron Brink was exceptional before injury. And look, if you want to say Cardoso shouldn't have been a pick ahead of her, at the same time, Sky got both of them. So, before we get on to it though, thank you guys for 15,000 subscribers. We're at 15.25k, which is ridiculous. Nearly 1,000 subscribers in the last day. Like literally, since 2 days ago, since yesterday, sorry, we've hit nearly 1,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for all the support on the channel recently. It has been incredible. And apologies, I did bite my tongue if that is noticeable in how I'm speaking. But we've never seen a player like Angel Reese. Just like we've never seen a player like Caitlin Clark. And if you're asking me, gun to my head, who's the better player right now, I'm going to say Angel Reese. I'm going to say Caitlin Clark is the better player. Gun to my head, who's been the more consistent rookie, it's been Angel Reese. So I think there is legitimate arguments for both of them with winning Rookie of the Year. And funnily enough, when it comes to Rookie of the Month, I'll talk about in a video later, I actually think Angel Reese deserved it in May. I think Caitlin Clark probably deserved it in June, but they gave it to Caitlin Clark in May, and they're going to give it to Angel Reese in June. But either way, it is quite a close Rookie of the Year conversation. But regardless, forget about the double-doubles, forget about the record, because at the end of the day, I don't think my opinion on Angel Reese would have changed if one random game 5 games ago, she got 1 less point or 1 less rebound, and then she only had, instead of 10 straight double-doubles, she had 4 straight, and then 1 where she didn't, then 5 straight. Like, it would have made no difference for her game. And especially if she didn't set that record yesterday with that 10th point in the last couple of seconds, it would have made no difference for how I think about her game. Angel Reese has the quickest reactions I've ever seen in the WNBA. She just gets to the ball before everybody else. She has like a nose for the ball that nobody else does. Her ability to use her body off the ball is better than anyone I've seen. There are players that are better on the ball than Angel Reese. Look, Angel Reese is a player where you're like, she can't shoot from further than 4 feet away from the basket. She's a pretty okay free throw shooter. Not brilliant, not terrible. She's an okay free throw shooter. But she doesn't have much of a handle. She tries to pass in transition a bit. Not the best passer right now. But it doesn't matter how many weaknesses there are in her game. Because she is a player that uses her strengths. Like, there are players that, when they have weaknesses in their game, the other team are able to exploit their weaknesses. And it's very difficult to exploit Angel Reese's weaknesses. Because a lot of her weaknesses, her strengths make up for them. Like, look, her biggest strength is offensive rebounding. One of her biggest weaknesses is finishing. She gets her own rebounds half the time. And I know people like to joke about that, but at the end of the day, even if you took away her catching her own misses, she still leads the WNBA in offensive rebounds. She's the best offensive rebounder, not because she catches her own misses. She's the best offensive rebounder because she manages to get position. The reason why defensive rebounds are more common than offensive rebounds is because the defensive players are in position to grab the ball. When the shot goes up, 9 times out of 10, Angel Reese is in a position where she is sealed on the weak side, and when the shot goes up, she's boxing out her player, and she's got position for the board. The reason she gets so many boards is because of her positioning and her ability to seal. A lot of her points come from entry passes for her sealing. She seals on the weak side, so when there's a reversal, suddenly she has an open layup. She gets post, anytime there's a mismatch, she sees it straight away. She gets post position and is very good at exploiting mismatches. Like, what she struggles with, she struggles scoring on bigger players than her, and she struggles defending bigger players than her. That is a fact. But if you saw the game yesterday, the Phoenix Mercury against the Indiana Fever, I really like Aaliyah Boston. It took 6 minutes for Aaliyah Boston to realize she had a 5'10" point guard guarding her. If that was Angel Reese, first possession, she would have gone in the post, literally walked her down under the basket so that she could cut the ball wide open under the basket hook shot. And the Mercury would have had to change it. There is an IQ that people don't seem to get, unless you have played basketball, and unless you have either played with, are one of these, or played against one of these type of players, that may not have the most skill, may not look like the best player in the world, but they just pin you every time. Where you're guarding them, and suddenly you're guarding them, and you're like, okay, yeah, cool. Let's try not let them catch the ball. And all of a sudden, you're pinned under the basket, and they just catch the ball and score an easy layup. or they get the offensive rebound every time there's a score. Unless you have either played with, against, or are one of those players, you guys don't know how effective those players can be. And that is why I'm so high on Angel Reese. A lot of people are like, oh, you're hating on Angel Reese. No, I'm pointing out the strengths and weaknesses in her game. She has more weaknesses in her game, especially when we are, obviously, look, her and Caitlin Clark are going to be compared till the end of time. So you can't talk about one without the other. Just like I don't think you can talk about Clark without Reese, you can't talk about Reese without Clark. They're both exceptional. But for the time being, just like you couldn't talk about Magic without talking about Larry Bird, you couldn't talk about Larry without talking about Magic, especially till Jordan came along. For the time being, they're going to be linked with each other. And I think they are both unbelievably unique in the fact that they've come into the league and they're the best at what they do, which is an absolute, which is unbelievable. Everyone talking about reality's coming, they're playing against grown women. They are doing exactly what they did in college. They are equally as good as they were in college. Obviously, Caitlin Clark isn't able to shoot as many times. She struggled shooting a little bit, but she was a rhythm shooter, so she was allowed to shoot the ball 25 times in college. She's not going to do that in the WNBA, so the points are going to be down. The assists are equally as high. They're going to be up by the end of the season. And her defense is better now than it was in Iowa. And if you want to look at weaknesses, obviously Caitlin Clark has a massive weakness. She is one of the worst off-ball defenders I've ever seen. She can get steals and blocks on help side. She's not a bad help side defender, but she doesn't know how to get through screens. She doesn't know how to switch screens. So there's a lot of things with there's a lot of weaknesses on the defensive end. Even though he's getting better on defense, she's not the worst on-ball defender. And then strength is an issue for Caitlin Clark. She just, on the defensive end, she can be bullied a little bit. Angel Reese has a lack of polish in her offensive game. And for Angel Reese especially, that's why I have said, if everything clicks for Angel Reese, she's going to be a better player. She's going to be the best player in this league. Because, look, there's no guarantee that she's going to be able to, I don't think she ever develops a three-point shot. If she develops a mid-range shot and a post move, she doesn't need to be A'ja Wilson, but she just needs to be guarded 12 feet from the basket. If she has to be guarded 12 feet from the basket, her ability to put the ball on the floor and draw fouls, because she's one of the best players I've ever seen at drawing fouls. She comes off in a lot of offensive rebounds and just rips through and gets someone's hands involved. Anytime she sees a hand near her, she rips through. It's almost like an NBA player. And that is the thing, is she has the sharpness of an NBA player, which is in the WNBA. If you're watching this, especially if you're watching the Fever, a lot of players, their reaction times maybe aren't as quick, especially when you're seeing players not used to how fast Caitlin Clark throws the passes. They're getting used to it. But they're not used to people playing at this speed. They're not used to players. And it's not even how fast they run. It's just the speed of the game. The passes, they're playing a new game. These rookies have played a different game in college. The passes are faster. The game speed is faster. These are players that are going to come in playing a completely different game. They're playing a different game than these players played in college 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, their teams might have been better because they were all stacked. But it's a different game. And you can see right now that the future is here. The way WNBA is going. And look, Angel Reese is the best at what she does. She is the best at what she does. She's the best rebounder in the league. She's the best sealer in the league. She's one of the best perimeter post defenders, if you get me, as in guarding your Neko Nwumake's, guarding your Nafisa Collier's, guarding your Breanna Stewart's. Where she struggles is offensive game lacks polish. She's a rookie. She's a defensive, rebounding-minded rookie. And she does struggle guarding physically bigger players. Tina Charles destroyed her in the post. A'ja Wilson took it at her a few times. She needs to be a little bit more of a presence under the basket on defense. But she's really good. She's way better on the perimeter than most of the good shot blockers. So, look, it's crazy. It's crazy how good Angel Reese is. And, again, I think Caitlin Clark is a better player. But I think Caitlin Clark is on track to being... I think Caitlin Clark's one of the 10 best players in this league. I think Angel Reese is one of the 15 best players in this, or one of the 20 best players in this league. That is how highly I rate both of these players. And just because I think one is better than the other doesn't mean that I don't think there's a massive gap between Angel Reese and everyone else. And then, again, I've said it time and time again. I think it's going to happen eventually in their careers. But there are no two players better suited to play with each other than Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. If the Sky somehow looked into the 1 pick and the 7 pick, we're able to pair both of them together, my God, that team would be unbelievable. that team will be unbelievable. Like, the Sky had looked into that and paired up Reese with, were able to get Caitlin Clark. Imagine just basketball wise. I know defense, they wouldn't really play much defense, but it's fine. Like, you can out offense a bad defense, especially in the WNBA. If you've got Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Elizabeth Williams, Kennedy Carter, and Marina Mabry, that is the fifth best team in the WNBA and one of the younger teams in the WNBA. Absolutely incredible. And I think it's going to happen eventually. But that being said, you can't watch these games. Like, I watched as much of the game as I could yesterday because I woke up late and, well, I watched as much of the game as I could this morning before making this. And it's clear, like, Angel Reese coming off rebounds, she's not being double and triple teamed. Like, I've heard people saying she gets triple teamed when she touches the ball. No, she doesn't get triple teamed when she touches the ball. But they swarm her on rebounds. Like, teams are now having to, every single time a shot goes up, not allow whoever's guarding Reese to go one-on-one because they know she's going to get that offensive board. So what's happening is that teams' defensive guards are having to crash because they know in a one-on-one situation Reese is getting that ball, and Cardoso being in there as well. They know they're getting that ball. So you're basically nullifying a team's ability to run and fast break because all their guards are having to crash the board. And obviously, when she comes down with these offensive rebounds, there's 4 people around her and putting it back up. So if the offensive polish comes, we're looking at maybe the second best player in her position. I'm not going to say she's going to be better than... I'm not going to be crazy and say she's going to be better than A'ja Wilson, because I don't think so. But we're looking at someone who could very well be the second best player in her position in 2 or 3 years' time. If she develops a shot from 12 feet, heck, she's one of the 6 or 7, she's one of the 5 or 6 best players at her position right now as a rookie. And this is the worst she's ever going to be. And she's getting better as the years going on. If she takes an off season and gets any sort of a shot, which I think she will, I think it's very clear that what she needs to work on, and I think she will work on it, she's going to be one of the 3 best players at her position. 4 best players. Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, Nafisa Collier can be better. But I think she's going to be in that. Do you count Alyssa Thomas a power forward? Then they're the top 4. She's going to be in that conversation for 5 with your Nneka Nwumekes next year. That is the level that she is right now. She's incredible.